Welcome to Collector's Corner, and we will bring up my friend Corner, and there we go.
Let's just turn that down now.
There we go.
Put your best forward. Head back to school in style with JD Sport.
Everything's going off at once. Welcome to Collector's Corner, guys. Yes, we're live. As Dale, CoinWorld UK, my buddy, first mate there, and myself, we're completely kerfuffled right at the moment, but that's fine. It was a fun day yesterday.
Yeah, I see part of your what did I get up to? About 10-15 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a long video. It really is.
So I didn't realize it's 50 minutes. So EAC, I saw a squirrel in the park. It was a little baby squirtle.
Aw, that's nice. Yeah, I'm still reeling over that Mexican pesos, those that they showed me. They were flipping amazing.
Did you feature it in your video yet?
Yeah. I gave a little bit of it, but it doesn't do it justice because he was in front of 50 people. Because
I don't really want to ruin it for myself when I'm watching the video.
No.
That's why I've avoided your response earlier. I wasn't being rude.
Honestly, it's the best possible way I've ever seen of avoiding counterfeit currency.
Yeah,
the likes of it will blow you away. They are so far ahead of everybody else in this amazing. They have a name for it. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. In fact, if I can get my
fluffy man and not so fluffy man, IBB for life and Commonwealth Bros, Mr. Silver Talifer. And don't forget, we do have the next Pay It Forward tonight as well. And there's arts and crafts. Well, I can't see that.
No, next Pay It Forward's tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's because Sorry. That's right. I can put my book away. Woo! Get in. That's right then. Hello, craps. And there's arts and craps. Coin Junkie, how are you doing, my friend? Always good to see you. Skipper's fallen asleep, and saw that run you see.
Okay, let me tell you about this thing. It's called augmented reality. Augmented reality, and what it is, embedded in the Mexican pesos, is they've got it set up so that when you look through an app, it brings your bill to life through sight and sound, and it looks three-dimensional. And if the bill does this, then it's a real bill. If it's not, then it's not a real bill. And
is that only in Mexican?
Yeah, let's see if I can get that so you can see it.
So it's like a holograph.
Yes. That's looking through the app when you're looking at your bill. And if it does stuff like this, and each one, look at that.
That's pretty cool, actually. It's got the butterfly and everything. So for example, if it's just Mexican bills.
That's the only ones I've heard of doing it so far. But I would like to see it done everywhere because it's seriously the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That is amazing. Kiddo Min! I'm not home yet, getting ready to eat while I'm out. Catch you later. You should be sharing with us. EAC's in the house. It's good to see EAC. Oh, that's pretty cool. And what's that bill there?
That's 100 peso note. And 100 peso, you divide it for U.S. currency. It's about, what is it? 20 pesos to an American dollar.
So it's about, that's 100 pesos. So it's like 12.
So it's five. So it's like $5 for 100 pesos.
All right. Okay.
They are fun. They brought it into the Numismanic Society meeting last night and showed it off, and then they gave people an option to buy it, but I wasn't fast enough. Yeah, 50 people in there. Oh, I want that right now.
Well, is that just for the 100 pesos banknote?
Yeah, no, they paid $20 for it, Canadian.
Wow,
which is like cheap.
That's pretty cool, man. So I'm just going looking at my Canadian coins because I know in here somewhere is that one.
Yeah,
you sent me.
Another thing I lost in the when they had the we bought the draw tickets when we went in, and one of the coins was a U.S. American quarter that was done kind of like a hobo nickel, but they did it differently. Whoever this was had the steadiest hand I've ever seen. He cut out all of the George Washington and everything right straight through, and even the letters along the edge inside, so that they looked like they were suspended. They were just hanging there with all this open space to the other side. I've never seen one done that way before. It was very cool looking. It didn't have a skull or anything. It had a regular face, but it was just the way they had cut it out was so beautiful. Yeah, I would have liked to have that one.
That's the two you sent me, wasn't it?
Name wasn't picked. Oh well.
Why wasn't your name picked?
Well, you buy you get 10 tickets for $5.
Well, I'm sorry, Skip. I think me and Silver T will have to sort that out for you because you should get picked all the time.
Yeah, I wish. Nice to see UK Medic in here. Yeah, so but that's how they raise a lot of the funds, right? And to show you how much funds they have raised, we're actually doing the food bank, and we're donating $1,000 as a group to the food bank, along with whatever we collect at the coin show here on the weekend.
You sent me that one, didn't you? Is that your handwriting?
That is definitely my handwriting.
And you definitely sent me that one, didn't you?
Yes, that I did.
With the red writing, so it's those two that I sent you.
Boy, it's pretty bad you get to know my writing, eh? That's definitely, yeah, don't recognize the red though.
No, I think that's the two you sent me, I think, from a while ago. And I must have just put them into my Canadian coin set.
Oh, and I got my shirt. You checked my shirt on?
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. That was pretty cool because one guy turned up late, didn't he? UK Medic!
I am now officially...
UK Medic? Just dropped into the show support. Thank you so much. Please whack your links in, everybody. Get to know each other. Get to know... I'm at work, but always trying to drop in and hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you, UK Medic. Thank you so much. Having it dependent on food banks before, I appreciate the donation. I think I think that's great when people do the food banks, you know, putting in there.
Yeah, it's quite a thing, the food banks. Yes, over here we get so many people that not only donate, but volunteer to help with them. They're amazing. They're really helping get carried through a lot of families.
Oh, that one as well. This is one you sent me a while ago though, because it's just that the others I got in envelopes still. This is
the 50-cent,
21.50. Yeah, you sent me that one a little while ago. So that's 3 you sent me there. So I got to make sure I got them, because I'm going to do tonight is put my Canadian coins. There's no going to be any particular order because I don't have many Canadian coins, but obviously I'm going to and then this how stupid I'm, right? Okay. In my Canadian coins I found US coins as well. So anyway, right. I'm going to find some flips because I know I got some ones here that fit these.
Flippity-a.
What a wonderful day.
I'm just reading what UK Medic is. That is absolutely deplorable. Nurses should not have to rely on food bank.
Yeah, they're in, I'm not sure which one UK Medic's at, but in GWH, as you're in the foyer, to the left, if you go to the X-ray department, the food banks and the nurses, and even some of the medical staff are on the right-hand side.
Wow.
When I go in the net, I will film it. Unless they've moved them, I will film it. Now, where is my...
That's certainly not a good advert to get into the medical field.
No. No, not at all. So, as it's Collectors Corner, Collectors Community tonight, guys, if you're into collecting and hobbying and having fun with your collections, no matter what you're doing, obviously providing it's legalized.
Legal is good.
Of course, come up. You're more than welcome to come up. Talk about your collections. As you know, this is a relaxing. Well, all 4 streams are relaxing. I'm going to sort some things out. And
UK Medic, you can count on Dale and I's support.
Yeah. Babe, the question. Babe, that hasn't rolled out anywhere, has it? Oh no. Well, that blows it out the window then, doesn't it? So I'll have to put them back and play some more tomorrow. Well, blows that idea out the window then, doesn't it? Never mind.
I don't think I've ever seen the lobster done that way before. Just checking over the video. here. Oh my goodness, that's different.
Who's doing lobster?
I am checking on UK Medics. Yeah, we call our air ambulances it's stars here in Alberta, and they are held in extremely high esteem.
Ours is just, I think ours is called Victor 99. Is that right, UK Medic? Victor 99. Wow.
All right. Okay. I feel much better now visiting and checking out. Cool looking helicopter.
Is it yellow and blue?
It's red and red and yellow.
What, the Canadian one?
No. Ours is definitely red, but ones on, geez, they're going by a whole bunch of different colored ones. I'm gathering it's red. Yeah.
Yeah, the police helicopter is used as the ambulance. It's also red as well, depending where you are in the UK. But ours down here is called Victor 99.
Yeah. We try to wave hello at ours, but I don't think they see us.
Oh, Essex. Okay. Right, so I can put these into my US collection and there for the moment. Right.
Are you dropping stuff again?
No, I'm trying to look for stuff and I just found it. I just found what I'm looking for now. Now the next thing is the scissors.
Sheena, hello.
Hang on, I'm just going to look for something a second.
Hey, I blued you, Sheena. Go ahead. You got a link to share? By all means, do it. And see if I've got that still up there. I do. There is the link if anybody wants to come up and chit chat with us. Well done. Yeah, my son actually was an EMT here outside of Edmonton, and he, after years of doing that, he decided to go into the safety side of the oil patch, and he's actually worked his way up and has got some senior position with them now. But most of my family have been medical. My mother and my sister were nurses. I was with St. John Ambulance, if you want to count that.
Well, it is technically medical, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you know, we used to go to the sporting events and stuff like that, and hockey games. Come in handy. I always had an advanced first aid.
So
it's pretty. You know, when I see these folks doing the stuff they're doing, I just in awe. I've been trying to have keto, but I call myself a meatitarian. But you know what? Everyone's like, just fall off the wagon. I mean, I love trying to stay away from the standard potatoes, but I do like sweet potato, like yams. Oh, just love it, especially done up in olive oil and baked in the oven. Yeah, I'll eat that.
Zoe loves sweet potato, don't you?
Outdoors with, oh yeah, Big Matt. Yes, Big Matt. I see him come up quite a bit on live feeds. You should come up and visit us sometime.
So we got UK Medic, Silver Telefer, UK Medic.
There you go, Big Matt. I know who you are.
Through, for 8 years now, and 26 years at London Ambulance Service. Fantastic. No, I don't like sweet potatoes.
Oh, it's your loss, more for us.
Well, that's right. Less for me. I don't care.
Just like someone said, oh, who was I watching? The New Zealand. I watched the New Zealand family. They do. Actually, they do some really good videos, but they like doing the cooking as well. And the dad doesn't like mushrooms.
Oh, more for me then.
And they made this one dish that was loaded with mushrooms, but fortunately they cut them up real tiny, so it wasn't so bad. But I just had to laugh the whole family. Dad doesn't want to eat this stuff, but oh, it's okay.
Man, I love mushrooms. I mean, I can just have a plate of mushrooms and not have anything else. Nature's meat, I call it.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Oh, I can't put my cam on 'cause I'm at work, but I thought I'd pop in and say hi.
Well, hello. How do you do?
That sounds like Alexander Meerkat.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And of course,
So
he's got the medical symbol up there, which is really cool.
Of course.
Hey!
The thing with my channel originally, if you scroll through the videos, there's quite a few videos of me responding to calls because we use response cars as well as the helicopters. And I don't know why, but the channels seem to then sort of switch direction. I've started doing shout outs and supporting other channels, which seems to be more of a success for the growth of my channel than my EMT footage. So,
well, you know what? What you're doing is you're basically priming the pump. And
yeah.
When you do that, where you go out and you let the community know you're here, it's like a penny doubling. They're going to tell other people and whatnot, and it starts expanding. And when they go to your channel, they're going to say, hey, you've got some cool videos or crappy videos. You got to watch yourself here. But I mean, if they like your videos, they're going to start being on a regular basis. And once they're hooked, they're hooked.
yeah, I mean, I did a video for Joseph Blackwood, I think, something, and within an hour, I'd had 987 views.
That's really good.
On a shout out video.
Yeah, the shout out videos, rather than the growth channels. The growth channels, there's quite a lot of growth channels. Now, YouTube has approved, they're called the 975 channels. And when you get to 975, you can go onto YouTube and search these 975 channels, and they're approved. And once you get, they boost you over to 25, and you get all fireworks now over your channel, saying, well done, you've hit 1,000.
Yeah.
But the smaller, say for example, let's say the smaller unapproved channels, I see lots of them come and go, doing, it's called networking is the actual name.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of them come and go. I mean, I haven't done a shout out video for a while, because I like to help channels grow, because my stigma got to where when I was doing Battle Chat, that's people remember me for Battle Chat rather than my coins, my other bits and bobs. And every stream I was going into, I'll check out his Battle Chat, and people don't know what that is. So so I had to sort of lay low on that for a long time now. And but yeah, it was kind of frustrating at the same time. I get it was nice for people to shout me out that way, but when you seem to actually do shout out videos or whatever you're doing on your channel, it does help a lot of people. And you will find that, as Numismaniac says, that you will find that your medical stuff will grow, with you know, because then you got 2 or 3 entities going at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do drone footage as well, you know, because I fly a drone. I need to get out and do some more of that, but with work, it's finding the time to do it.
Well, of course.
I actually, I mean, it wasn't a big channel. I've only just recently got over the 1,000. But I think I've done well to go from, I think I was on 32 subs in February to 1,031 now. So, yeah.
It can be done.
Well, the thing is, I've devoted a lot of time to supporting other channels. What I do is people that subscribe to my channel and take the trouble to comment on my videos, I then construct a shout out video to promote their channel.
Yeah.
I've been looking at your channel to see how I can best promote you, because obviously most of your stuff is a chat like this, and it's very difficult to try and put that into a promo video. But I've been looking at other bits and pieces, and I will put one together for you.
Oh, thank you. But I got over. I do loads of other things, you know, and so does Skipper. I mean, this is just recent. What we've just done. What was about 8 weeks now?
Something like that.
About
second month.
Coming up to 12 weeks, I think.
Has it really that long already?
Yeah, it's been 2 months, isn't it? So yeah. Good night, sweetheart. Love you. Right.
Hi, Zoe.
When you go to bed, whatever you do, okay, stop wearing your wrestling outfit.
Lauren.
She puts a mask on and everything on, I tell you, the boots. She sets up a wrestling ring on the bed.
But I don't sort of, and even with the shout outs, I don't look at, I mean, I do the smaller channels, but I don't sort of discriminate. You know, if they're a supporter of mine, it doesn't matter whether they've got 20,000 subscribers, I will still do a shout out for them, because it's my way of giving back to the people that are supporting me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I mean, the other thing is I am brutally honest with some, you know, as you know, you sometimes you'll go into a room and someone will say, oh, I've subbed to you, and they expect you to sub back. Now,
yeah, sub to sub don't work.
Well, no, if I'm not interested in your content and I'm not likely to watch your videos, there's no point in me subscribing, because what will happen is YouTube will take that sub away because I'm not viewing the videos, I'm not commenting.
Yeah, it's urgent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
true. Very true.
It's best to be honest with someone. Say, yeah, thank you for your support. Unfortunately, your content really isn't my kind of thing, you know. And then they have the choice to either remain subscribed to me because they like my content, or the fact they can go because they only did it to gain a sub from me.
This is what I said to a few people. If someone's been going for a while and they've got a huge audience, and someone's just started a YouTube channel and they're doing a similar thing, you can't expect people to jump from one ship to another without knowing who you are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can't force people to come over and watch your stuff. I mean, as I said before, I mean, I've been on YouTube 3 times, and I had a big gaming channel, but I wasn't monetized. I did my coin one before, but the rules changed with the 4,000 hours. I waited a year to get monetized, and I thought, well, it's been a year. They changed the rules again. I've got all these views. I had about 700 subscribers at the time, and the rules have changed, because before you can get monetized more or less straight away, but they changed it to 4,000 hours. And I've become it anyway. And I thought, oh, sod it. This is just not too much. I deleted everything I had. So anyway, so obviously I've been doing my coins and banknotes and stuff like that. And my wife to be goes, why didn't you go back on you? I went, no, so everything's put away. We've just moved and all this sort of stuff. And she goes, oh, all right. And I went back on. And I took the third time, or the second time with the coins, has been outbeaten this by all the previous ones. I've met much nicer people, much better people, more relaxed. I think it's been, you know, before you had to have so many subscribers before you can get into like a live stream, you know, because obviously you couldn't live stream unless you had over 1,000 subscribers and many other things like that. But now obviously you can live stream after you've done so many videos, and then you can qualify to do mobile live streams after a certain time. I think that's changed now.
Yeah.
But you know, the biggest thing was to get the community posts over 1,000. Now it's down to 500.
Yep.
Now, once you reach over 1,000, you're in a YouTube partner program, you can get a shot. Before, it had to be 10,000 subscribers. And so I think YouTube's changing for better. And I actually wrote a letter. It was a survey, right? It was not exactly a survey, but it was, I don't know if you had the same one. And they specifically asked me, what would you change with YouTube? And I said, YouTube always has this stigma about subscribers. And, you know, subscribers count doesn't mean necessarily the go-to channel. You know, and you know, you might have someone who's been going a long time, but it could be quite boring, and yet you can go to someone who's only just started and be really knowledgeable. That's why I don't discriminate between anybody, never have done, because I'm always learning. I learn off everybody, and you know, you know, we just started this. We obviously did Battle Chat for a long time, and that got to a point where my channel got lost in its mist, so to speak.
Yeah.
So this is why this is why now it's starting to build back up again. You know, slowly, but it's taken 3 years. But you know, like you, I was quite lucky. I mean, it was harder to get subscribers as well because they didn't have the links in the chat. They took all that away, so you couldn't put the links in. You had to physically go to the channel. Even the moderators couldn't put links in. So you had to physically write down who was in the chat that night.
Yeah, yeah.
And the 4,000 hours, you know, the 4,000 hours is the hardest part to get. And you know, the subscribers will come. If you get that early, fantastic. But always go for the hours first. Film everything. You know.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I mean, I'm not looking to be monetized. I just saw that the increase in subscribers was like a sort of a recognition of my content.
Yeah.
And I was doing something right. I quite frankly don't have the time to commit to YouTube to get monetized. I couldn't put the content up and do the stuff to actually make it worthwhile, you know. But yeah, for me, it's just an acknowledgement and a recognition of what I am putting up, you know. And I mean, I felt great when I got to 500 subs because it meant I could have a community tab. And then when it started to creep up to 700, I got to 928, and that last step to get into 1,000 seemed like forever.
I'm there now. It's seems like forever.
Yeah, it's, you know, that last bit from sort of 928 subs to get to 1,000, and on one occasion I think I got 20 odd subs in one day, and then overnight YouTube took 30 away.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they do that deliberately. They do that deliberately. What it is, what people don't realize, obviously with the pandemic which went on, YouTube did it automatically without, because they actually get hold of your channel, and this is true, they actually get hold of your channel and they'll have somebody sit there and go through your channel, and it could take up to about 3 or 4 days for them to say, right, okay, they have a criteria to go through, and that person then will either accept you or not accept you, but then you can appeal it to get somebody else to check it. But I mean, there's been channels out there that have been going a long time who can't get monetized for some reason, because they don't meet the YouTube. Even though they got over the 4,000 hours, they got the 1,000 subscribers. Well, actually got over 2,000 subscribers, and can't get monetized because they don't meet the requirements to what they class as bad actors, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't use. I mean, I've been very fortunate, right? I met incredible people like you, Numismaniac. Obviously, it's asleep there. Look.
Yeah,
and
people.
Caffe's Corner. Mike Wolf, Cowboys.
Expecting.
But yeah, I urge if you want to do it, if you want to get monetized, I say do it because it's just an extra few quid in your pocket for something that you enjoy doing. That's what I say.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. I mean, it's not my goal, if you know what I mean. I'm not sort of obsessed with it like some people are.
Oh no, I wasn't.
I recognise that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't out. I mean, I don't press the record button. When I first press the record button on the third time or the first time or the second time, it wasn't about getting monetized. It's about enjoying something I like doing. I've always kept that persona. You know, I press the record button because I want to, not because I have to.
I'll have to send you one of our air ambulance pin badges.
Yeah, I collect the challenge coins. I only collect the ones where I've served with them. And I'm with Wounded Warriors now.
Oh, brilliant! That's lovely. That's a really nice one.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of my hobby.
Yeah, I think a lot of people though, when they do press the record button, they expect they're going to get millions and millions and millions of pounds and stuff like that, whatever it is. No, I just do it because I enjoy. This is my escape.
Yeah.
And
yep.
And I just have fun.
Yeah, we're all on an equal footing here, where we
exactly.
enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
share whatever we want.
Well, I didn't even know any of this existed. I first started putting videos on YouTube, to be honest, as a place for me to store my own videos to watch when I wanted to watch them in my library. And one day I stumbled across a live chat and I thought, what's going on here? And I watched it and thought, oh, right, okay. At that point, I didn't have a mic or a camera or anything. And quite interesting. And then from that, I decided to sort of start being a creator and actually uploading my videos to see whether people had liked them. And I did start off with the drone videos, and I got a good response to that.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I've got loads of footage, and I just haven't uploaded. It takes so long to edit it because it's like I had somebody complain about one of my EMT videos. He said, why do you put music on it? And why are they so short? And I said, what? He says, why don't you show the full run from when you get the call to when you arrive on scene? And I said, well, firstly, there's data protection. I said, the reason I have music playing is because the radio's going, giving details of the patient and the incident, which, you don't want people being made aware of. The reason I keep them down 3 or 4 minutes is who wants to watch me driving for 14 minutes on blue lights and sirens to a call? 3.5 minutes is more than long enough for you to get the gist of me driving through heavy traffic and some of the things I encounter, rather than be driving for 14 minutes like a lunatic. But there's always somebody. I mean, I even had a troll, that followed me around and threatened me and all sorts.
Oh God!
Yeah, I know. I'd be in a chat like this, and he'd appear and start abusing me, and the host would say, "I'll block him." I said, "No, let him have his fun. Let him get on with it. It makes he doesn't know me. He can carry on." I used to bite and fight back, and then I thought, "Hang on a minute. You don't know me. You're not a part of my life. You're not important to me. You carry on." And
exactly. No reaction is the best reaction.
Yeah, and I always say, people who create content create, and those who can't troll.
Yeah.
It's funny. My wife once said something along that lines, and I looked at her. I says, "That's right. They can bite you, but they can't eat you." He says, and my wife come back. She said, "Well, I'm pretty hungry."
It's usually people who have got no. When you look at these trolls, you look at their channel, they've got no content, nothing at all. no subscribers. They literally come on YouTube to give other people a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I call them? Very bored and sad people.
Yeah.
I'll just answer the Evil Arch. Now, I work 12-hour shifts, 4 days on, 4 days off. At this time of night, during the week, it's pretty quiet. It's the weekends at this time of night that it gets busy when everyone starts coming out of the nightclubs.
I used to like working the 4-on, 4-offs.
Yeah.
You know, we also did a 7-3-7-4, but that was really hard.
Yeah, done that as well. But 4-on, 4-off is quite good.
Yeah.
Especially when you change shifts as well, where you've been on nights and then you go on to days. It's nice to have to, because if you went straight from nights to days,
brutal.
Which I've had to do it during the pandemic. I've literally, done 4 nights, had 1 day off, and then started back on days. It's like, Jesus, let me catch up, for Christ's sake. And my postman thought it was hilarious. He was just delivering my post one morning, and he said, "Is that a steak and kidney pie I can smell cooking?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "What, at 7 o'clock in the morning?" I said, "I finished work at 6. I said, "This is my dinner time."
Yeah.
I said, "Do you come home from work at 5 o'clock and have egg and bacon?" He goes, "Well, no." I said, "Exactly." I said, "This is my dinner." I said, "I've just got home from work."
I did nights for over 20 odd years, and the nights wasn't like 10 till 6. It was 4 in the afternoon till 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I did overtime as well. So sometimes I'll go and pick my mum up, and she won't finish until 9. I didn't live I lived in Wiltshire, but I had to travel from Oxford all the way to the other side of Wiltshire. And so she'll be finished at 9. So I worked till 7 and drive all the way over from Oxford to Swindon. It took about an hour and a half to get to where she was working, and then just sit outside and have go to the nearest roach coach, go and get an egg and bacon, just sit there and have one for my mum. I guess I don't want that now. I just finished with it. I'm like, no, I'm on my own. But yeah, it was a strange. It's like my friend has just started nights. No, he's not a night person, and he sleeps all day. His mates turn up, and I told him, when your friends turn up, time to go away, because they've done their day shift. They've done their weekends, because obviously they work a normal day shift, and his first real day off is Saturday.
Yeah.
Because they turn up Saturday morning, where it's just obviously worked all nights. And as you know, the worst thing you do is be disturbed at 10 o'clock in the morning. And of course, he comes there at the weekends and he's sleeping. And I said, "Steve, if you're going to come over and, tell your friends to go away and come back when you're on a Saturday." He goes, "Yeah, but I only have Saturday." He goes, "I'm back at work Monday night." I go, "So that's not the point. The point is, Stephen, you're a night worker, and your life and your metabolism is totally different."
Yeah, it does screw you up really bad. I've delivered a couple of babies actually, and it is really cool. Yeah, I mean, it does screw up your body clock, that's for sure. I mean, our shifts are really good because they overlap. So, like, if I start at 6 in the morning till 6 at night, you have another shift come on at 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 at night. And then at 2 in the afternoon, you have another shift come on to do a 2 till 2 a.m. and so on. So all the shifts overlap. So at some point, you've got an awful lot of resource available.
Yeah.
Where the shifts overlap, But people have this misconception that the air ambulance is used to transport people to hospital. And I've had it out on several occasions. It's actually used to fly the hospital to the patient, where it's the person critically injured. You're flying specialist medical teams and equipment. The only time we actually transfer a patient by helicopter is if it's a severe head injury or spinal. Or they're in a remote area where it would take ages for a land ambulance to get there, But generally speaking, the idea is to get a doctor and all the specialist equipment to the scene as quickly as possible. And the helicopter is the best way of doing that.
And also to transport patients to another hospital, maybe now and then.
It depends on the nature of the patient. Again, if they're a severe spinal injury, given, you probably know yourself, all the speed ramps and chicanes and things on the roads now that slow the traffic down. If you've got a spinal patient in the back of an ambulance and you've got to negotiate these speed ramps, it's not good news for the patient, that's for sure.
Isn't it the I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's here, but I'm not sure about London. It might be London. Only the fire brigade can take the patient from the ramp to the hospital.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The fire crews do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the paramedics are with them because obviously they've got to do the handover. But
yeah.
Oh, it's quite funny as well because people always say to me, "Why does the helicopter take off backwards?" Well, there's two reasons for that. When I was in London, the air ambulance is on the roof of the hospital. Now, if you fly forward and you have an engine failure, you're going to drop on the road below.
Yeah.
If he flies backwards and the engine fails, he's just going to crash back on the landing pad.
Yeah.
The other reason they do it is if you take off and fly forward immediately, before you've seen what it is, you've hit it. Whereas if you fly backwards, you're gaining height and you can see forward before you fly forwards. And
so,
people have also said, why does the air ambulance not fly at night? And they said, the police helicopter does. I said, yeah, but he doesn't have to land. You can't see phone cables, power cables.
Oh, yeah.
It will go out at night if it has to land on something like a motorway, because obviously there's no cables and things generally across motorways and things.
Yeah.
But our pilot says, birds don't fly at night. I see no reason why I should.
Yeah, I see EAC has asked a couple of questions there. Have you ever delivered a baby?
I answered the one about delivering a baby, yeah.
And describe how much space there is in the back of an air ambulance with all the equipment there.
Surprisingly, there's a reasonable amount. It depends on the helicopter because some are side loaded, some are rear loaded, and the patient sort of comes in between the seats. But yeah, there's plenty of room.
Mind you, though, the rear ones are more, aren't they? The rear loading ones.
Rear ones are easier, a lot easier, because the patient's loaded in through the door straight into the helicopter, and you're either side of him basically. It's a lot easier. Some of the police helicopters are used for air ambulance purposes as well, and that's a little bit harder because they're not really set up for it. But yeah, it's fun.
Another thing, one more thing that people don't realise over here, I'm not sure about anywhere else, but the air ambulance is the only organisation that's charity run.
Yeah.
It really relies on donations.
Which is disgusting when you think about it. It's a major resource that the NHS use. I mean, our helicopter goes out at least 5 times a day to various things. And you think, that should be funded by the NHS and by the government. It shouldn't rely upon charity.
No, I totally agree with you there.
I mean, they do get lottery funding, and we are sponsored by a lot of local businesses, which are really good. And they are sort of advertised on the helicopter, But, yeah, it's a very underrated service, I think, by a lot of people. They don't realise just how vital it is. Until they need it, of course.
Yeah, and they can't thank you enough for everything and but without it, as you said, if it's without it, people don't realise how crucial it is.
Well, you take any rural area where, Devon and Cornwall, their helicopter is used so heavily because of the narrowness of the roads. I mean, if you've ever been to Devon or Cornwall, you get a vehicle coming the other way and you've got to reverse back half a mile.
That's true.
So the ambulances, it's just a nightmare. So they send out the helicopter because it's so much easier to land in a field nearby and transport the patient. It's those guys are very, very busy. My hat goes off to those guys because they're far more active than we are.
I suppose probably the next one is going to be like Yorkshire and Cumberland
District,
helicopters.
yeah, Peak District, all that kind of area. Again, you know, you've got hikers up on hillsides and stuff like that.
Taking up the wrong equipment. Probably in Wales, I suppose, Snowdonia and all those areas. But yeah, again, you've got the Snowdonia train running, but that's not the point, though. I mean, people do have a lapse of concentration thinking that the ground level is going to be the same as, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 feet in the air, and realise that they're in torrential rain, snow, lost.
Yeah, that was me about 40 years ago in Wales. Across the Brecon Beacons and the fog came down. I had no idea where we were. We walked for hours to travel about half a mile. Sort of going around in circles in the fog. I mean, it comes down very quickly and very easy to get disorientated.
I used to feel that way when I got out of bed. You know, the worst thing they ever did, when they brought in that hospital bed for me, which I use, as you know, the worst thing to do is when you go to bed and you jack the thing right up as high as it'll go so you can watch TV. Then in the middle of the night, you have to run to the washroom and forget that you're halfway to the ceiling. Not cool.
Oh, dear.
Felt like I was jumping out of a bloody airplane.
Do you know what, Skipper? If I were you, I'd just get a big hose.
What?
A big hose.
A big
And,
hose.
you know, a hose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A colostomy bag. Yeah, that'll work good.
Yeah. And then
catheter.
Or you can do the sensible thing and put a step next to the bed.
Oh, wait a minute. I never even thought about doing that. What a novel idea. Beef stepping on the dog.
I'd just put an airbed on the floor, so if you fall off, it's up to land on.
My wife has loved it, by the way. She gets the damn king-size bed all to herself with that beautiful bedroom, and I'm stuck in what looks like a hospital room downstairs. She's got, I love this. I got both dressers now. Yeah, okay.
It's time to worry when the electronics fail and you find yourself with your nose pressed against the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Do you remember Norman Wisdom?
Yeah.
Oh, there is another drawback, too. I woke up one day and a big honking spider came down on my head from the ceiling. Frick!
I'll tell you a funny story. When I was actually on the ambulances in London, we got a call out to an elderly lady. She was about 87, so I had some problems with her blood pressure meds. And been having a laugh with her in the house because, you know, part of the treatment is to sort of put the patient at ease and have a bit of a conversation. And we'd had a laugh and joke in the house. Just loading her into the back of the ambulance, and a hearse pulled up on the opposite side of the road. And I said, don't worry, Doris. I said, that's my backup in case I get it wrong. I said, he follows me on all my calls. And she thought it was hilarious.
That's priceless.
Yeah, she thought it was hilarious. I said, yeah. I said, that's my backup. He follows me around just in case. She said, as long as he doesn't get his tape measure out, that's fine.
Oh, man, that's too good.
That is priceless.
60% of my patients used to arrive in A&E in hysterics by the time I got them to hospital. You know, I had one old boy, he was complaining about the ride in the back of the ambulance, saying that it was the most awful ride he'd ever had. If I had a knife, I'd cut my throat. You guys are trying to kill me. And my colleague was driving. So I was driving, my colleague was in the back. And he said, can we pull over a minute? I said, I think we need some fresh air. So I pulled into a lay-by. We opened up the side door. He goes, will you get in the back? He said, because I'm going to kill him in a minute. Now, the guy that I was with was the kindest, mildest person you'd ever wish to meet. I wouldn't hurt a fly, but he was losing it with this guy because he was like complaining the whole time. So I got in the back and he drove. Anyway, so the guy kicks off. And I let him go on for about 10 minutes. And I slapped my hand down on the cruise. I said, right, that's enough. I said, I don't make the rules. I said, when you die, I said, you get to ride in the back of a Daimler. I said, when you're sick, I said, you get thrown in the back of a van with a bed in it. Which is basically what an ambulance is. It's a van with a bed in it. We'd love to drive around in Daimlers and Bentleys, you know, but unfortunately, you know, they give us a van with a bed bolted to the floor. He soon shut up. You know, yeah, when you die, you get to ride in the back of a Daimler. It's true. You think about it, the worst moment of your life, you're thrown in the back of a van. And the most comfortable ride you're ever going to get, you're dead and you don't know it anyway.
Oh man, that's put me off. I just wrote the wrong country on a Kennedy. Oh man,
it's just all the wrong way round. You know, you need the comfort while you're feeling sick, not once you're dead and you don't know what's going on. I don't charge for comedy.
Yeah.
You got me thinking of an old movie I watched years ago, and it was a bunch of medical students, and one of the medical students was a bit of a hypochondriac. They got him in to be checked, said they had to have some minor surgery done. So this will give you an idea how long ago. They gave him ether.
My God.
Okay, the guy knocked out. And they brought him to a funeral home and put him in a coffin and set him up for his funeral. And there's people sitting and waiting for him. And he come to, and he was in a coffin. It was great.
Oh dear. I think I've been to some very, very nasty incidents, but the thing that freaked me out the most was I had a guy in the back of the vehicle, and he's on oxygen and everything else. And I'm sort of chatting away to him and doing all the observations. And suddenly he just pulled his mask away from his face. He went, "I'm really sorry." He said, "But I've got to go." And he rolled his eyes back in his head and died.
Oh my God.
That really freaked me out. He said, "I'm really sorry, but I've got to go."
Oh my Lord.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think freak anyone out there. You know what I mean? Especially in a situation. And
yeah, I mean, you know, literally, he just pulled his oxygen mask away from his face and went, "I'm really sorry, but I've got to go." And my immediate reaction was, "Where are you going?" And that was
well, let's hope you went to a good place. That's for sure.
Whoa, yeah, let's hope so.
My goodness. My worst experience wasn't really in an ambulance. Mine was, I was on a military exercise many, many years ago. And I was a sergeant leading a section up to a rappel area that was basically, it was a ravine with some rapids down about 200 feet down where soldiers were doing portages and stuff. It was scenic as heck. Anyway, we got to the edge of the ravine and I noticed there's two little girls playing next to the cliff edge. They had wandered off of the Trans-Canada. I guess their Winnebago had broken down and they wandered into the military training area. And they were at risk of falling off this cliff. Well, I darted out. I put my rifle down. I darted out to grab the little girls. And of course, the mist from the water below had made the rocks really slippery. So I pulled the two girls off and I ended up doing a swan dive into the gorge. Now you got to understand, this is like the height of Niagara Falls. This is like a deep gorge. Yeah. And the amazing thing is, and I can honestly say, time slowed. I to this day I can remember everything in slow motion. I could feel the wind on my face. I can see the bottom of the gorge and the water coming, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's it, I'm done. And I'm heading towards the rapids down below. And it's a narrow gorge. And it was like the hand of God had actually pushed against me. I guess it caught a wind and pushed me the cliff edge, and I caught a ledge. And the only thing I come out of it was a broken leg.
Cool, that was lucky.
So I'm lying on this thing, and of course, adrenaline's really kicked in now, and I'm like, go, right? The guys that I had led in there had rappelled down. They put on the worst splinting job I've ever seen. It went about 1.5 feet past the bottom of my foot. So this and they hauled me up. They used a double bowline to hold me up the top of the cliff. And then they says, "Well, we got to get you to the base hospital." I says, that's great. How are you going to do it? And they says, well, I guess the only way we can do it is go the 1.5 miles through the bush. We have one in each guy on each arm. And I had this splint that was sticking out and hit every branch and every root all the way through the bush, hauling into this old 3/4-ton military vehicle.
Yeah.
They threw me in the back of it. And my buddy Don was the driver of the truck. And he says, oh, what have you done now? Is I got no seats because it's full up with guys that are all going in. They've all hurt themselves. So I had a couple of guys that were, sobbing away. And I'm going, oh, yeah, okay. I got the broken leg. I'm stuck lying on the floor. And it's bouncing through the bush because these are just basically paths that they driven these army vehicles.
Yeah.
So I'm bouncing all over the place. What do I get? I get a double Charlie horse, one in each leg, plus a broken leg. I forgot all about the broken leg. Those Charlie horses just about put me right through the bloody roof. So I figured that's it. I'm going to be repat back to my base, and I'm going to be stuck at home. No, they did the X-rays. They slapped a cast on me and put me in charge of the tent city. So we're on the Mattawa, and I spent the next 2 weeks with crutches walking the tent lines. And that was my big adventure. So much for excellence.
You talking about military exercises. Myself and a colleague, we'd been on a training course in Norfolk. And we were driving back through Thetford Forest. And he decides that he's busting for a pee. So we pull up onto the grass verge, and he leaps out of the car and runs into the woods. A couple of minutes later, he comes running out of the woods, absolutely mortified. He was standing there having and he peed all down his trousers, I have to add. Thetford Forest is a major military training ground. It also says Ministry of Defence signs everywhere. But there's no fences. You can actually access it from the road, but the signs warn you that it's... He's standing having a pee, and suddenly he heard... And about 8 soldiers just stood up from the ground in all their camo gear. He said, he came back and all the front of his trousers were wet. He peed himself. I said, you're lucky you didn't pee on one of them if they were laying on the ground.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'd have peed off.
Yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious. I mean, I've never forgotten. It was one of the funniest things,
Something similar. The funniest thing I ever saw regarding someone taking a leak was a guy was in the tent city that I aforementioned. And he was doing his thing, and we had tubes inserted in the ground with Hessian
Friday
for some privacy.
Yeah.
A black bear wanders down the road, startles him. And it's the first time I've ever seen a guy running down the road peeing at the same time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have to say, over the years, I've seen some very strange and funny things.
Well, I'm sure you have.
I mean, I would say I've had a hard life, but I've had an adventurous one as well. It's been very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
People, I mean, when I say I've had a hard life, I'm more fortunate than most people, And I always, when people are currently in the UK, we're all bitching about what our electricity bills are going to be and whether we're going to be able to afford to eat and stuff like that. I always say to people, we're not going to bed every night wondering if a bomb's going to drop on our head.
No, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we do know that we are going to eat tomorrow, and we have got somewhere warm and dry. Even if we can't have the heating on, it's still a damn sight better than sleeping on the streets.
That's.
I mean, I had a guy. It was only a couple of months ago. Have a go at me. It was pouring down with rain, and there was this. I'd actually gone to the chip shop to go and get myself a portion of chips, and there's like an archway between the chip shop and another shop, and there was a homeless guy sat on the floor. And the guy from the chip shop came out with a tray of chips and a sausage in batter for him and gave it to him. And I went in and got my chips and all the rest of it. And he said, oh, yeah, he said, he's here quite often. He said, I always take him out something to eat. He said, it's my way of giving something back. So I went back to my car and I left the chips on the front seat and I went into Greg's Bakery and got the guy a cup of coffee. and took him a coffee to go with his fish and chips. And then I said, "Do you smoke?" And he said, "Yeah." And he got a pile of dog ends, basically.
Yeah.
He picked up from the floor. And I said, "You do not want to be smoking those." I said, with the pandemic, I mean, well, that's over. It's still not as such. So I had cigarettes on me. I had about 5 in the packet, and I gave them to him. And this guy had a right go. He said, "Oh, that's it. Bloody encourage him." He goes, "He's here all the time." And I said, "Look," I said, "for the grace of God," I said, "you could be in the same situation."
That's right.
You know, it could happen to anybody. And people don't realise that when they judge these people. And the thing that I really have a major issue with is the way that the world in general treats its veterans. You know, we've got guys here that served in Afghanistan and that they're living on the streets. They're homeless. And the same in America. It's disgraceful.
They, no, I, to be honest with you, I was actually homeless for 18 months. And no, it wasn't. Now, yeah, it was bloody cold sometimes, but you get the obnoxious gits. And we went into one of the shops, and we goes, "Have you got anything that you're going to throw away?" Like, you know.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah. And this guy, I don't know, he must have been about 23, 24 years old. And bearing in mind, right, I get the irony, I get the joke, but it's not funny at the time. But the fact is, he goes, "Yeah, I'll give you something to eat." He gave us a frozen pizza. And we'll do with a frozen pizza, you know. He goes, "It's better than nothing." And I goes, "One day, hopefully you'll end up like this." And, you know, well, you know, I don't want you to, but then you get some other person who's going to be worse. And so, yeah, for the homeless to me is kind of, because they, you know, not all of them are bad. And I met some veterans. I met some people who just not long come out of the army, didn't know where to go, you know, what to do. And they've been on the streets for a long time. And I've met some people who's been on the streets since they were kids.
Yeah.
You know, my mother died, and situations, I just ended up being on the streets. But the thing is, I had a great time. The people I met, it was a great time, because, you know, I didn't go out and beg for anything. And there's secrets out there that people may not know. It's like when you're homeless. If you are not in any trouble, the one way of getting money is through the police. And what you do, you volunteer for lineups, and they give you money. And they give you money. They just give you like tenner or 5 or whatever the lineup is. They don't tell you anything about it. And they just stick you in there, and you get something to eat, you know, from the canteen. And another way to get clothing is, if you hear about one of the shops changing the winter to autumn to winter, whatever it is, you can end up going, "Oh, we help you change the stuff, the stock that's thrown away." They'll say, "Come in for like 20 minutes, pick what you want, and walk out." That's what we used to do. But then you get some people that ruin it and take tons and tons of stuff that they can't carry, or they've nicked, or they've stolen some other stuff. And we said, "No, put that back, because you're going to ruin it for everyone."
Yeah.
But luckily the lads I met were all right, actually. You know, never got into any trouble, and, you know, they weren't on the drugs or anything. So it was good. You do get the people out now. You steer clear. You know who to steer clear from. You know where the breakfast clubs are. You know, I mean, I've got some funny stories of that as well. I mean, when I went into a homeless shelter. Now, I had a great time in a homeless shelter because I managed to catch somebody doing they shouldn't have been doing, was the staff. And in my room, because you pay for a room, and I opened up the door, and they were doing something in my room they shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
And rather than grassing them up and get them sacked, I said, "Right, I'm going to have things come in my room, and you're not going to say anything, are you?" They went, "No." So people used to store beer in the room. You're not allowed to have beer in there, you see.
Yeah.
I didn't drink anyway, so and I used to charge like £1 for a can on the rent. So,
oh, hang on.
you got to survive.
My radio.
So you got to survive one way, but you don't want to be over exerting people that has nothing at the same time. And again, like the other day, I was out with my wife to be, and there was a homeless guy there, and I took him out a meal, you know, because you can see he's homeless, you can tell he's homeless, you know. He's not raggedy, he knows where to go, and he's just trying to raise some money to stay in the hotel for a night.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't give out money. I never ask one thing. I never asked money once. And lucky for me, I met my brother's girlfriend, and she was inundated with babysitting, and she was a lifesaver as well. And she goes, "Oh, I need a babysitter. Can't get hold of my brother. My brother's nowhere to be seen." And I said, "I'll take him. I'll just go to the house and getting in there." So that's how I managed to get off. So it was just by chance, really. But no, I haven't seen since then. I haven't seen my brothers for about 2 or 3 years prior to that. So that's how I managed to get myself off.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
But yeah, but some people are idiots and they ruin it for others, and some people aren't. It's just who you meet, really.
Oh, hang on.
Beep boop. Remember that sound too well.
Oh, sorry guys, I gotta go.
Do your duty, my friend.
Good job. Take care all. Catch you later.
You take care, buddy. Look after yourself.
Someone's got to work.
They have indeed. 1973, I think. I've got a question for you, Skipper.
Yeah, go ahead.
I found a coin. Now, I know you've got the Dove Eagle, haven't you? Right, for the centennial?
Oh, Canadian centennial?
Yeah. So I'm doing Canadian coins right now. So
okay.
I found a maple leaf one. The centennial maple leaf. It goes.
Okay, what was the year? 67?
Yeah, it's got 2 dates. It's got 1867 to 19. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Oh, no, it's not. It's the wrong date. I'll have to change that over. 1992, sorry. What's that one then? 1867 to 1990. Is that 150 years?
1867 to when?
1992. Was that 125 years?
It's the 125?
125 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that wrong, then I have to change that over.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring in some of this stuff with the homelessness. I was actually, when I had split service, so there's a couple months I got out of the service. And I actually avoided homelessness by re-enlisting. I could not adjust Civvy Street when I first got out.
Yeah.
So I went back in. So I didn't lose that really too much time, but it's still, it was a real wake-up call to realize that I was not ready to work myself into Civvy Street. I just didn't have the skills. I wasn't into drugs or anything. It's just, I just fell through the cracks.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why you help people, because I mean, some of the service guys I met, they come out the army. There's no direction back then. They didn't know that they can go and sign on. They didn't know there was, they've been in like the army since they were like 16, and they come out of their bags. Stuart, Tony, and all them. I still remember the names, and they said, they gave me a coach about this far, and then that's it. I went for my money. You know, some of them don't even have, because they went in the army. They went into the army as young lads from foster care, and so they've had no family, and their ticket only got as far as Swindon because it's like a hub, and they had nowhere to get where to go. And I said, well, you can apply for all this stuff, and I just took them around. So I got really friendly with them. Do you know what I mean? They went into that sort of, you know, they would lend you like their cami stuff, and because they still had their troop stuff, you know what I mean. So on them and that. So it was as I said, I was lucky, you know. I didn't want to get down to the roots where, you know, people would steal but if you ask politely, then, you know, the shops, not people going past, because they're just as hard up as anybody else. You know what I mean? So, but
yep.
It was only 18 months, but it was a long 18 months.
That would be, yeah, far more than that. The thing that's bothering me now, as far as the homeless goes, a lot of it's politically motivated, what they're doing, and it's all money. It's all money.
It's all greed.
Yeah, if businesses don't see any profit in it, they're not going to help the homeless the way they should.
No.
And that's what they, of course, they need food, clothing, shelter. They need an address, which is one of the most difficult things for a lot of them. If they don't have an address, how can they get a job? You know,
and everything's computerized now.
Yeah.
A lot of these homeless guys, right, especially the older people, has never even looked at, you know, they've seen computers, never even turned one on. You know, and they're going, oh, go and use the computer over there. Now, when you go to the job centre over here, especially our one, they don't sit and help anybody. You know, you could be dyslexic, you may not be able to read and write. You know, you may not be. They just say, well, tough. You know, and then and I'll tell you one thing, right? I went for this test when I first left my job, right? They thought I left my job. This is how confusing. They thought I left my job voluntarily. They didn't realize I was medically retired. And in this room, right, they give you these computers to start up. You start the computer, and that goes on the criteria. Then they give you a spelling test, a maths test, and all this sort of thing. Obviously, some people were struggling, some people wasn't. And for some reason, this lady stands up behind me and says, excuse me, but why have I only been given 2 marks on this test? Now, this is a true story, yeah? She stands up and she goes, why have I only been given 2 marks on this test? And she goes, well, that's what your score is out of the whole curriculum. And she goes, well, that's funny, because I don't even know why I'm here. I'm a university lecturer, and I'm only here to help with my rent to when I go to my next university. So it's only like 6 months, because obviously I don't know what was going on. She was in a transfer and somehow lost in the cracks, so she had to sign on to get a little bit of money, and they put her into this test thing like I had to, and I fell through the cracks because I was going through transitioning from work to getting my work money. And again, you're only as good as the operator, aren't you, who's putting this information on the computer, letting them know that, you know, you're not working anymore, because I had to go and do that. And she goes, well, that's what it doesn't matter what your background. This woman who was stood there was trying to tell this university lecturer that the system is correct. And when she goes, well, I designed this. It's like, she designed this. And she goes, this is not to put people down or for a scorecard. This is for understanding what it's like for somebody who's coming out of schools into work. That's what this is designed for. So how have you got hold of this? and she was not happy. She goes, I'm going to write this down. I've recorded everything, and you're saying I've only got 2 marks because I designed the whole system, and the whole thing was about where you would fit in your maths, and it wasn't about putting people down how illiterate or or how academical people are. It's to see where you need to improve when you want to go and get your job. So, like, if you're a bit short on your grades, you can put a top up on your grades. You see, and that's what she was trying to say. People's never seen inside a factory before, so sorry, but that's not about work. People don't know what a factory looks like. If you've worked, she goes, if you've worked in a university all your life, I don't know what half these factories look like inside.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you put points on something that you've never seen? And the woman there was like like that. Yeah, it was terrible, absolutely terrible. But anyway, I said I got to go. She goes, I got to go because I had an hospital appointment that day. And she goes, well, if you leave, you won't get your money. I said, don't get any money anyway, so I'm not really bothered. So tell her. And when I said, look, I went to this test thing, the woman had a go. Apparently it got around, and they sort of, my brother went there about a year later, and it's all changed. They got a different system in there now.
Yeah, EAC, those folks that work in those shelters, many of them do have empathy, but there's quite a few of them that seem to have not experienced exactly how tough it can be. And they don't quite understand. In Canada, we were going the right direction for the longest while. Now I can speak for Edmonton because firsthand I've seen what's been going on here for years. We had the Hope Mission downtown, which was doing a marvelous job, but all the homeless were going to the city center, and the city, in their infinite stupidity, would put on these big food festivals and whatnot every year, and the homeless would come out in droves looking for whatever they could to eat, and they'd shoo them away and get them out, and they considered big nuisances and whatnot, and it caused constant conflict. Now, then along comes the Gates group. They put on a multi-million dollar, God, it probably cost almost $1 billion, the Rogers Center downtown. Beautiful, beautiful building, but it took away all the area where all these people were hanging their hats. What do they do? Well, instead of providing them for a decent shelter that was nearby, they would pick them up in vehicles and drop them off outside the city to try to get rid of them. Then they would migrate back on their own into the city, but onto the outskirts. Now all the parks and whatnot on the outskirts in the suburbs and stuff, everywhere you look, you find tent cities. They're everywhere. But they're not in the downtown area anymore. So what are they doing? They're hitting up the homes and the communities on the outside for anything they can get in order to survive. Now, if they had been smart back in the day, they were talking about it. One of our mayors actually was looking at getting this massive shelter, complete with showers and a place where they can at least get out of the cold. I mean, we have very bitter winters here. And believe me, as a former bus driver, I run into many a homeless person frozen to death in these bus shelters. So it was not uncommon. They would have given them some place to rest. They never did that. The only ones that are doing anything, the Veterans Food Bank and the Veterans Home for Vets. And it came up from Calgary, where the veterans that are homeless are getting they're like little modular homes that they've set up to get them back on their feet and get them on the straight and narrow. And the food banks, the veteran food banks, are giving them food. They're giving them a place to socialize and talk and to network and to get medical help. They've got all kinds of counselors and operational stress injury support groups that help them. They're doing that, but that's not counting the huge number of civilians that are out there, the ones that are dealing with drugs and alcohol and serious mental issues.
Yeah.
The mental issues they got here, the hospitals, which typically have a unit like Misericordia had 2 West, they let all their they'd only keep the mental patients in Monday through Friday, and they let them out on the weekend, and they had no place to go. They just kicked them out of the hospital. They came back after the end of the weekend, but they would wander around the malls or stand out in the street corners begging, or whatever they could do to try to get something in. Then during the week, they put them back into the unit. What? Why aren't they doing something? It made no sense. It still doesn't make, and it's ongoing. So yeah, our society is sick. Our society is not focusing on helping those that need help the way they should. That's my opinion. There, I got it.
The way I saw it from my point of view is that a lot of people, if you look away, you don't know it's there. You know what I mean? It's like if you I mean, especially the ones that are in the shop corners and stuff like that. Now you would go up to them and go, you can go into these like Salvation Army. They don't want to go in there because they feel like how do I put it? When I was on the streets, it was like they're used to it. You know what I mean? They're used to it. There's a lot of people out there that's been on the streets for nearly 40 years, and they're used to it. They don't want to acclimatise into society. And there was one lad. He's actually older than me. He's probably about 55 now, and it's actually quite a sad story, really. His mother met a guy, and it was only her and her mum, and I don't know what happened to the dad. He went off or something, had an affair or something, I don't know, but I was just guessing. But and of course he never met his dad, and one day his mum brought home a guy, and he never got on. He never got on at all. Never took him as a stepson or anything. And he noticed that things were in boxes. He didn't know why things were in boxes. They said, well, you got to go to school now, get off, go to school, get out the house, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So he used to go to school to get away from his stepdad, because he was quite horrible to him. And the next day, when he came home from school, the house was empty and didn't even know where his mum went. And he was on the street since he was like 15 because he didn't know where to go. And now he's 55. So, but yeah, he's been on the streets for as long as I knew, anyway. Because you just get used to it, I suppose. But no, he wasn't into drugs. He wasn't into drinking. He actually took care of me. To be honest, he took care of me. But no, he was fit guy, really fit lad. Really fit. And when we got into the homeless shelter together, he managed to get himself sorted and met a girlfriend and moved off, and they got a place together. So I lost contact with him probably around about 20 years ago. But he was doing well for himself, got a kid. So that was good. But yeah, he's 55 now. If I had a kid, the shelters would have helped, but no kid.
That's not uncommon. That's
not uncommon. There's a lot of refuges for women and men, for women and kids, but there's none for men and kids. I mean, you can be a single parent and be a father. Dimebag.
Dimebag must be working.
Yeah, I think he is. He's putting the dots in. You know when he's working, he's putting the little dot in now and then. But no, that's why I'm happy and cheerful, because I don't think things in particular time seems pretty bad. But keep calm, keep smiling, keep happy, having a laugh is what I say. Isn't that right, Skipper?
I also experienced what it was like to be homeless with my mother. And I remember as a kid, she was avoiding my dad. He was quite abusive. And we were staying, and thank God we had friends and acquaintances that allowed us to occupy spaces in their homes. One home in particular, I remember it so well. They laid out mattresses in the basement and put up sheets for walls.
Oh, yeah, we lost Skipper. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, so they and that's essentially where my mother started. She was taking any kind of work. She was a waitress. She worked as a candy striper in a hospital. She did all kinds of things to try to keep us going. Eventually, she even did some bootlegging, for Pete's sake, and ran poker games for the mob. So it was a rough life when I was a kid. So, and any wonder I ran away at 15.
But you respect her for it, though, right?
I respect her for what she had to do. It was an extremely rough life, but it's something that in my own mind, I finally said, that's it. I've had enough. I can't live this way, because if I had been, I probably wouldn't be here now.
Well, we're glad you took the right decision there, Skipper. Seriously. I took all the leftover food from my mum's celebrations out of life in one of them homeless camps. It was awesome for them to get all the fancy sandwiches. It felt good. I mean, yourself warm. I mean, I see people, you've probably seen it. You've probably done it yourself, Skipper, being out in the wildness and that when you've been in service. I mean, sometimes you got to warm your hands up with your own urine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Rock Butcher just said, did you get the opportunity to make peace with her? Yes, I did, but she was the one that initiated it. She started phoning around. She had got wind that I had lied about my age and joined the army, and and it came back to bite me, because I got called into my commanding officer's office, and he looks at me square in the eyes. He goes, "How old are you?" I wasn't that long ago.
Is Skipper's old
That's
uniform.
my old picture. Sure it is, you bugger. So I stood in front of my CO, and he says, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 19. He says, "No, you're not." He says, "You've been in the forces 2 years. You're only 17. Oh, okay. So I ended up more so for continuing the lie. He put me in a military jail for 20 days. 21 would have put me into Dorchester and then given the boot. So he gave me 20 days, and he gave me the option of either a release or to stay, because I was a good soldier. It's just I lied about my age, and I explained why I did it, and he allowed me to stay in. So when I retired with 22 years service, I was only 37 years old. Now, in the computer age, it couldn't accept me, because it's going, you couldn't have been in. Yeah, I was. So, no, you were only 15. That's right, I was. So they have to manually adjust all my records to show that I was only 15. And my mother got to see me. I spent a couple weeks with her, and she slapped me around a bit. Where have you been?
I think that slapping around a bit was more painful than the
no, by then I was pretty hardened. Yeah, go ahead, see if you can dent me.
You probably dented your mum then.
No, I wouldn't touch her. Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, she hit you and you dented her hands. Mind you, mums back then were made of asbestos. I swear mums back then were like hard nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that'd be pretty tough back then. I didn't mean that. I mean, when you wouldn't feel anything. She was there giving you a clout more because, her hands are hurting.
Oh, with my mother, she would have swatted me and then gave me a big hug.
Oh.
I actually had a total of 7 children, Susie Q. My oldest boy said, boy, I better make sure I send him a ticket. He's turning 49 here in the next couple of days, which is I was only 20 years old myself when we had him. And son of a gun, yeah. I had an older daughter, which I lost back in 2010, and I had a set of twins that we lost, would have been almost over 30 years ago now. Wow. And I have a son, Andrew, Brandon, and Megan, and yeah, it's interesting having the kids. Oh, and Laura's off in Grand Prairie. Yeah, but at least I didn't do what my mother did. My mother could never remember our birth dates. So she gave us all birth dates to align with holidays, and none of us cottoned in on it. We thought it was just we're lucky. We got, my older brother was born on Christmas, and my other brother was born on Valentine's Day. I was born on the 4th of July. And it was only once I got my legal birth certificate when I discovered that I wasn't born on the 4th of July. I was born on the 8th. So I confronted my mother. And I said, Mom, why did you tell me I was born on the 4th? And her excuse was, well, your father, he was drunk when he registered you. And you were supposed to be on the 4th. But yeah, he wrote down the day that he sobered up that you were born on the 8th. I said, okay. I discovered quite quickly that wasn't the case whatsoever. It's just she couldn't remember the proper birthday, so she put us on holidays. So for the longest while, I used to celebrate the 4th and the 8th, both, because my whole life I was on the 4th. Now I'm on the 8th. And everybody was, you have 2 birthdays? Yeah, it's because I got stuck.
Yeah. He was in there from Monday till Saturday.
That's it. I finally popped out, and half of me was 4 days older.
Man, nobody knew he was there.
Yeah, I think my mother would have been shocked to see that I actually eventually became a special constable myself.
Do you think that hard lives and most interesting lives, though?
In some cases, yeah. It depends on what you do with them. I mean, when I think back, some of the stuff, oh my goodness. My first house I bought from one of my mother's friends from Detroit. I won't say exactly what his name was, but he was part of the Detroit mob. And he sold me the house for $18,000. It was on a double lot, $200 down. That's all it cost me. And the only stipulation was I was never to dig up the backyard.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. Rough world. Yeah, I grew up, the final place I lived was in Windsor, Ontario, on a section of the city called Drouillard Road. And Drouillard Road, everybody had this is Canada, so it's not like the States, even though you would think so. Everybody had weapons. So, you know, I had what did I have? I had a Russian Vostok 22 caliber rifle and a Lee Enfield. Okay, and when we normally use the 22 for shooting rats in the basement, and we had big rats, not as big as the East Coast, but we had pretty big rats. And when we got bored, we shoot out the street lights.
I remember you telling me about that.
It was a rough neighborhood, really rough. You know, I'll never. Oh yeah.
The street light was funny. When you said it was like, so you shot the street light out.
Yep. Yeah, a few dogs would bark. Nobody would come to see what's going on. Yeah, we had this one. Now, reflecting back as kids, we did some strange things. We had this one woman. She was homeless, but she didn't have any problems getting food and booze. We called her Edna the Witch, and she kind of plunked herself almost in front of our house, and she used to come up to you and she go, "Can I have?" Oh, keep in mind the money was worth a lot more then. "Can I have a quarter, Sonny?" And she'd come along and of course my brother Mark's, "Don't give her anything," and I always gave Edna something, right? So this one day we decided, well, you know, we're going to go on an adventure. So myself and my buddy John and Mark, we decided to walk across the Ambassador Bridge to walk to Detroit, across the U.S. border. Back then, all we needed was our school card. We didn't need a passport. You just, you know, and they allowed walking across the Ambassador Bridge then. You imagine kids doing that now? Not allowed. And we walked all the way over there, and well, John and my brother Mark were nasty. You know, they used to play practical jokes on each other, and it was my brother Mark who was pretending that he was Edna the Witch, and he went up to John and said, "Can I have a quarter, honey?" And John looked at him, he spit in his hand. My brother, we're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the bridge, right? And my brother's standing there going, "Oh, yuck. Okay, that's gross." So what did my brother do? He held on to all his spit in his cheeks for the rest of the walk across the bridge. And the moment John turned around, he let it blast in his face. Just, he looked like Slimer just nailed him. Just and he had no place to wash. It's stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, we did some pretty nasty things when we were kids. Hey, 710's in the house. How you doing, buddy? John Chum Adventures. Wow. Yeah. I guess it's part and parcel things. It was a rougher life. We didn't wander around with cell phones or anything. We actually talked to one another. And when we disappear, we better get home before dark.
That was the rule. That was the probably universal rule, because that's the same thing for us.
Yeah, and as soon as it did get dark, those that weren't, you can hear the mums on every porch yelling for their kids.
Yeah. Or one other word was dinner.
Oh, dinner. Oh, dinner. We came a-running.
I didn't. I took my time.
That was the one saving grace my mother did that we really enjoyed. My mother was, she'd taken enough training in cooking that she actually became a chef. She actually was awarded the Chef de Cuisine Award.
Wow.
So when she cooked, she knew how to cook just about everything except two things. Two things I learned to despise. And to this day, you will never catch me eating them again. Liver. My mother could not master the art of making liver. It always tasted like sawdust. It was disgusting. The other thing was eggplant. Now, I discovered in my old age how to cook eggplant, and there's certain ways you do it. My mother never understood that. She did things like hollow out the eggplant, plop a couple of raw eggs inside, and bake it in the oven. What? It was disgusting. So those two things were the only things that I couldn't handle that my mother made. Other than that, she was an amazing, amazing cook.
My mum and dad were good cooks, to be honest. I wouldn't say, like, I don't know if it did anything fancy for when people turned up, but for kids, it was great, I think my mum could, if she would, because my nan, obviously, farmer's wife, so she was really, really good on her cakes. Oh man, they were big, thick doorstep cakes. Every Saturday you'd get there, and there would always be enough. On a Sunday, she'd have like a Victoria sponge made, and you had custard, and it'd be all like homemade stuff, and trifles, and jelly and ice creams, and other fancy cakes, fairy cakes, flans, and
my biggest thing with baking. My mother did some baking, but as a kid, of course, I guess they didn't have the rules they have now with child labor. But I worked at both Modern and Adler Bakery. Adler was actually a Jewish bakery, and that's where I worked nights and then try to stay awake during the day to go to school. I slept a lot at school. And that's where I used to make my money, is as a baker. So yeah, bake. That's my Achilles heel. That's why I can't see my feet anymore.
Do you know what Zoe found the other day? I'm not sure if you've seen the video. I'm not sure if you've seen the video. It's a Napoleon. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. How you pronounce it? Oh god, it was pink, white, and chocolate ice cream cake. I can't remember what they call it.
Pink.
Yeah, it's Napoleon or something like that. I can't remember how you pronounce it.
Hold on. Yeah, it is Napoleon. It's
Napoleon. That's it. Napoleon. But yeah, it's it was so good. Tastes like ice cream inside sponge. I love Arctic roll.
Devil Dog doesn't come up after that little thing I put on there, I don't think. Oprah Raw, Queen of the Rabbits. It's the oorah.
Come on, Devil Dog, you got to come up. 1974. And this is what I'm doing at the moment.
I was wondering you were making all kinds of noise there. I'm just sitting back, chilling. I should actually ask a few questions today.
Okay. Oh, can I ask some questions?
Not like you did last time.
No, they're not the same. They're not the same. Right, everybody in the chat ready? Okay. Skip has got a 1 minute timer. And let me think of a question. Okay, you ready? First question. Remember, you got a 1 minute timer there, Skipper. Okay. What is the capital of Canada?
He's done it again. Rockbuster's got what? Rock Butcher's got it. Ottawa.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Okay. What?
Manitoulin
Okay,
Island.
I'll do some more ones. Okay.
Some war ones, but I have a 1 minute restriction.
Yeah. Well, you can answer if you want to. You can if you want to. Okay. What was the invasion of Great Britain called? There was a code name.
The invasion of Great Britain, not the invasion of Normandy.
No, the invasion of Great Britain from World War II, from the German perspective. What was it called? I'll give you.
Butcher says it's Operation Walrus.
Not so far off. He's looking at his phone like naughty boy.
Invasion of Great Britain.
Yeah, we called it Battle of Britain. Yes.
Oh, that one. If you call that invasion, all they did was drop bombs.
Well, it was going to be called Operation Sea Lion. Okay. In World War II, what was Operation Mincemeat?
I can't remember. Was that the one with Patton?
Nope. I'll give you 2 minutes on this one. Operation Mincemeat. It's one of my, I wouldn't say interesting story. It is an interesting story, but it's one of my favourite stories. It's about a I'll give you a clue, 1 minute clue. It's about a civilian. World's largest burger. This person didn't realize he saved millions. And the Germans gave this certain person a really cool thing. Could be a giant taco. Do you know?
That's not the one for Sicily, was it?
Yes, it was the one for Sicily. That's right. His name is Major Michael. I can't remember his second name, but he was a homeless guy who looked like a major, and he was carrying very important documents to Sicily. They fired out of a torpedo.
Oh, yeah, he was homeless, wasn't he?
He was homeless. And he died of rat poison, obviously for rat poison, which is feasible back in the day. And he had a girlfriend set up and everything. And the German who came over, the German spy, they let him go because if they would have caught him, they knew it was a ruse. So they let him go. And now he's the only civilian to be actually given a proper British rank as a major, and he's buried in a German war memorial as a Major Michael somebody. I can't remember his second name, but yeah, that's true story.
Interesting.
So Operation Mincemeat, that was. And he also
that just put me off of mincemeat completely.
But yeah, another story about that as well. It's a side story to that. Is that the Dutch naval officer who involved with the task of this, served in the French resistance. He went back. He was sadly killed, but he helped with the French resistance to communicate this operation. So that's another side story to it. So it's a bigger story than just one person, but he saved millions.
10-4, Silver T.
Okay. What were in World War II? What was classed as Zippos?
Lighters. Oh, sorry.
Zippos. What was the nickname for Zippos? Or what? Sorry, what the nickname Zippos is for? What? Sorry. Don't forget, I'm reading this off the top of my head. So.
Ooh, you're smart.
Nope, not flamethrowers. Well, yeah, Zippos are lighters, yeah, but it was a nickname. The Germans called these things Zippos.
It's funny you're saying that. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Sten guns?
Nope.
Because you know the Stens, they used to throw them in the rooms, right? Because they were such crappy weapons.
Oh, yeah. It was a cheap grease gun, basically. It was a rubbish. There was like 5 different makes of them.
Yeah.
It was just a gas pump with a tube and a trigger. That's all it basically was. Very unreliable. Got bent. Yeah, not very good at all. Yeah, they just. Yes, it was Churchill Sherman tanks. The Germans would call them Zippos because they light up easy. Okay. What was dropped during World War II by fighters and bombers in fuel tanks? For the Allies, and why didn't he? Actually, no. Oh, go on, Karen. See if you can get this, and I'll tell you why. Is another piece of this.
And am I still restricted?
No. You can answer.
I believe they were incendiary bombs, much like and probably dropped on Dresden.
No,
because they
This is for the Allies. Their guts.
Oh, this. What do you mean this for the Allies? This is what I just said.
Fighters also used to drop bombs. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like okay, but they converted some Spitfires and some Hurricanes, and other aircraft that had a short range to drop bombs, but they weren't exactly bombs. They were dropped to something, but when they were dropped, they didn't touch it. There's a reason why they didn't want to touch this stuff, because they use it fuel tanks as well. But what was it? What did they use to drop?
Well, they had propaganda that they dropped in them.
No, this is for the Allies, not the enemy.
Oh, so it's the Nazis doing this?
No, this is the Allies, not the Axis.
Okay, so this is the Allies.
Yeah,
I'm getting. Were they external fuel tanks that were used up?
Yeah, they had something inside them, but the Allies didn't touch it. What was it?
And the Allies wouldn't touch it. I don't think they were using biological stuff.
No, I'll tell you. It was beer. They used to drop beer in bombs and fuel tanks, and because it had the stench of fuel, they wouldn't drink it. So they had to. Of course, they couldn't drop barrels because it would just explode on the impact.
They were bombing the Germans with beer?
No, they were bombing the Allies with beer to keep up morale, but the Allies didn't drink it because it was.
So they were giving them a treat. The Allied troops, they were sending
it was beer. They didn't touch it
with fuel. They did the same in World War One. World War I, they were giving water tanks, but they were used with fuel, so that you would be drinking water that smelt of fuel.
Yeah, it was the same thing, but this is basically it was
I
a fluid.
agree.
That it
-5
was beer.
for clarity.
Yeah. It was beer. That was the fluid. They would bomb the Allies with a certain fluid, but they wouldn't touch it. I couldn't say what. But yeah, they would go out and give morale to the troops by dropping, bombing the Allies with beer bombs, basically, and the Allies wouldn't drink it because it contained the smell of fuel, aviation fuel. Okay. Which general said he would eat his hat?
I would say it was the General MacArthur.
No, one general in certain said he would eat his
Another
hat.
one that was nasty was Patton.
No, not Patton. No,
Oh, wait a minute. Are we talking American or British?
German. I'll give you a clue. German.
Rommel.
No.
General Hassenpfeffer.
No.
Hermann Goring.
Yes, Hermann Goring. He said that if an Allied bomber ever reached Germany or Berlin, he would eat his hat.
That explains why you see him with no hat on quite a bit.
Can't remember the name of the submarine now. Okay, who took control when Germany surrendered? Who was the Chancellor?
You mean after they dealt? That's immediately after the fall of Germany.
Yeah, it was no other choice. It was just straight in.
Karl Donitz.
Yep, Karl Donitz, and I think he was hanged.
Yeah, Rock Butcher got it too. Admiral Donitz.
Okay, what was the name of the prison which held Rudolf Hess?
Spanberg.
Close.
Damn it! I know it starts with Spandau.
Yes, used to hold 126 prisoners, but he was the only one.
Look, Rock Butcher's right on Johnny on the spot.
He is, isn't he? He is. He's quick. Obviously, there's no competition who gets there first. So, okay, this is a bit of a trick question. When did World War II really end?
After Japan surrendered.
No. The fighting ended, but I don't know about the actual war itself when it officially ended.
Oh, you're not going with that one Jap soldier that was stuck in the bush for 30 years.
No, 70 odd years or something like that, wasn't it? Like 80 odd when he came.
I would think of as soon as the surrender was signed, isn't it?
That's the conflict. But World War II ended. I tell you, you can check this out. World War II really officially ended when the Berlin Wall broke down in 1989.
Really?
Yeah. Because obviously it broke up the four quarters and it released East and West Germany and put it as one nation.
He's making it tough on us here.
Yeah, semantics. It's just semantics. Sorry, the trick question.
Well, we're going to give her another 5 questions or so, but I'm going to have to call her quits on the stream here pretty quick.
Okay, Skip, you go for it now then.
Okay, I'm not going to be so evil and just do military related ones.
Okay, I have a question for the first mate. Okay.
Okay. What 2 rivers join forces on the outskirts of St. Louis?
Is that Mississippi?
2 rivers.
Oh, the Amazon and rivers of Mississippi, I think.
The Amazon?
Not the Amazon. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember.
Mississippi, and you're halfway there.
What's the other one down there? Is it the oh,
I'll make you a hint. The other one starts with an M as well.
I think the other one goes north to south.
Nothing cropping up in
No, I can't.
Mississippi and Missouri.
Missouri.
Who led the settlers of Pitcairn Island?
Do you know what? I don't know. I honestly don't know that one.
Fletcher Christian. Mutiny on the Bounty. Okay, Rock Butcher says, okay, I have a question for the first mate. All right, go ahead and give him the question there, Rock Butcher. I'll sit back and enjoy his confusion.
Which battalion of which regiment held back over 100 communist Chinese? I mean, I've got to read this. Which battalion of which regiment held back over 100,000 communist Chinese? I know that one. That's going to be probably like the Vietnam, Viet Cong. I don't know what to call them.
What?
I don't know.
You do so well with Second World War. What happened?
Eh? Which regiment held back over 10,000 communist Chinese with the help of its Aussie battalion and Kiwi artillery regiment?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to say. Do you know what? I don't honestly. I have no idea.
My hat is on. I'm going to help because he's really lost. He's not even in the right war. I believe the only battalion of a certain regiment that earned a battle honor during that Battle of Cap Young was the 2nd Battalion, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry.
So it's going to be yours then, Skip?
No, I was 1st Battalion. Because 3rd was 3rd.
I honestly don't know.
Second's got the thing, so I'm pretty sure it's the 2nd Battalion.
I'm sorry, I don't even know when that was. Yeah, 2nd Battalion, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry. I'm a proud member of the unit.
I love it. Fellow Patricia in our.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was 1st Battalion.
Oh, Korean War. Okay. My Uncle Ray, as I said, I got 2 Uncle Rays, Raymond and Ray. One was in the Korean War, one was in the Vietnam War.
What, Rock Butcher? You want me to put my Patricia hat on? You got to remember where I put it. We're hold on.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that one.
Well, you know what? It happens. We're not perfect.
I'm in the right wall. Bloody hell. Yeah, he's put me big again. Okay, I will do. I don't like war stories as like the conflicts and stuff. I just like the interesting sort of history. Skipper knows that, don't you, Skip? I'm not interested in. That's a beautiful coin, that is. Or medal.
That's the official challenge coin. It's serial numbered. You know,
Oh, that's
I can't
isn't it?
be bothered finding my beret. It's somewhere hidden, but there's my challenge coin. Who is Princess Patricia? Which one do you want, Brayborn or Ramsey?
Furry plants and coins. How are you doing? Oh, EAC's finally done a video, by the way. I need to watch that when I go to bed in a bit. Oh man, I should have got the clue there when he said put your cap on there, put your hood on.
It didn't take much to guess that one, because that's such a proud thing that the regiment did.
I mean, I will read up about that or get on to about that because it is interesting history. It's not a history anybody wants to repeat, but it's interesting.
Well, you know what? I do have a book I'd love to send you. I just have to save up enough money to send it. I'll show you. I'll show you the one I got here. This is a spare. I got an extra one.
Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Always nice to see you. Kin of mine, nice to see you. EAC. Obviously, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight.
There you go.
Oh, interesting.
This has got some really great stuff in it.
I'll tell you what. If you send that, yeah, when you can, I'll read through it, take some notes, and then with your one, you can test me on it, and I won't have the book in front of me.
Well, it does. You know, the thing with this is the patrician. So it's essentially, it doesn't have the entire history listed in it, but it tells a good deal about the regiment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's had a lot of really good friends in the Patricias.
Well, I know you met some amazing people. That's a beautiful book, though.
Unfortunately, my RCR friends, I used to belong to that regiment too. They say I have a identity crisis. Served in too many units.
I'm surprised when you went. I mean, when you know where you're going, you could have really played around with that. There's just so many units to go to. They could have really sent you to so many different sections before they sent you to the right one. That would have been interesting.
The fun part is I have registered with every association that I ever for every regiment that I belong to, which is kind of costly, except for the ones that are paid up memberships. The Patricias don't do that. You have to pay a yearly membership with them. But same with the 1st Special Service Force. I'm an associate member down there because we actually took care of Maurice White for a number of years here. He was a member of the Devil's Brigade, which is, by the way, one of the most colorful units and most interesting history ever. Have you watched that movie yet? The Devil's Brigade? It's not quite historically accurate, but I highly recommend you watch it because, man, oh man, it's cool watching the Canadians marching down to that camp.
It's got one of the best. I mean, it proved in a way how disciplined they were.
They were very disciplined. Yep.
I have watched it many years ago. I will watch it again, but I remember them coming into the camp with the Black Watch going. Scotland. I think it's Scotland the Brave. I think they're playing. Is the tune, and they can hear it in the distance. They're having a massive brawl on the parade ground, and they sort of like the Americans. Apparently, there's a YouTuber on here, and I can't remember his name. I think he's gone now, but he's quite an old boy, but I think his dad was one of the extras in the fight. On there as well, so that was pretty interesting.
That is.
Yeah. So they all applied for the hard lessons. They learned the first hand to give how to the Chinese.
That's right. There are a number of cases that the Medak pocket was another one where there's the Patricias were seriously outnumbered, and they held their own. We got some pretty amazing soldiers in the unit.
Well, if you want to talk facts about, say, World War II, right? You know, the planes and the Zero and some of the ships that were made up from the metal. That was all given from the Americans for the scrap iron and steel treaty. And some of the Zeros that they made is actually from the American steels. Way before that, when the what was that massacre called before Pearl Harbor?
Massacre? Are you talking about the Dieppe raid?
I'm not sure, but they done the Japanese when they went into China.
Oh no, that was when they went in through Manchuria.
The Manchun massacre.
Yeah.
The Japanese wanted to take a focus of one thing and put it onto another. There was a reason why it wasn't because they wanted to get into the war, it's because they wanted to. There's a backstory to everything.
Well, the backstory was that they were cut off from their natural resources, so they wanted to get it from China, and they essentially
wanted to go after Russia, didn't they? The Japanese really wanted to go after Russia. They want so they had a pincer movement to go around to Russia, I believe. But way before Pearl Harbor happened, you're talking, this is a few years way before, because Japan didn't have much steel produced, or if any, the Americans sent them a scrap treaty of iron and steel, and so you can probably trace some of those Zeros back to the American steel program, and some of the ships they produced. I
want to ask Rock Butcher something here, because it's something that's really bothered me about the Medak pocket and being peacekeepers. During the Turkish invasion of Cyprus, as peacekeepers, if we fired off rounds, it meant paperwork. It meant freaking if you better make sure that if you put up a round up the spout and fired it, you better be able to justify why. I wonder if they forced the poor buggers that were stuck in Medak pocket to do the same thing, being that they were UN peacekeepers. Did they have to? And I'm speaking right to you, Rock Butcher. Did they force you to justify any rounds and things, or did they just do a carte blanche, write it off that you were under fire and you had no choice? Because peacekeepers always got a bum rap. I mean, they're stuck between warring countries, and in that case, they were the target, which was absolutely
you can afford it, wouldn't you? So You're damned if you do, or you're damned if you did.
Because I'll tell you, wearing powder puff blue helmets didn't help.
And was it like more or less like, was it like an off-white uniform or something?
No, we were in standard combat uniform, but you typically were wearing powder puff blue helmets, and your armored vehicles were painted white with a UN thing on the side.
Oh no, you had the brassard, didn't you? With the UN on it.
Yeah, he says exactly. There was an initial study and lots of interviews, but in the end, the UN decided that we were right and justified. Yeah, they freaking, that was awful what the UN guys had to go through just to justify defending themselves. I mean, holy crap. Yeah, it certainly did change the dynamic of the war. My goodness. My son Christopher was actually with the Lord Strathcona Horse Regiment over in that leg. He served till 95.
Man. Do you know what I haven't done yet, Skipper? Like
What?
the video. I haven't liked the stream. No, I have.
Yeah. I think that stream that I put out with the Edmonton Numismaniac Society was going to be a bit of a flop because it was too long. My background music was too loud. I was trying to tone it.
Wasn't the flop. What I think it was, I mean, the time. I will watch it in sections. You will get a watch from it, obviously fully. But I would have done it in segments personally, broke up in
Yeah, it was a little long. I like doing things 30 minutes and less.
Well, YouTube videos, they put it down to 8 minutes. So 10 minutes is probably around about the sweet spot, really, for a video. But I don't think this. I mean, it's very rare I do a longer video.
That's the first long one I think I've ever done.
It is. But it's interesting though, because obviously it's what we're interested in. It's nice to see behind the scenes and the setup and how it all goes about before it kicks off. Normally you see is punters going around. You don't see the behind the scenes thing. So that's the rare, how it all, the tables are laid out and the meetings behind, because obviously it has to be an organization. And I like the bit about the cheesecake.
Rock Butcher says, I'm much happier being a geologist now. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I'm happier being retired. Not that I'm not keeping busy. I'm keeping very busy, but yeah. Anyway, my friends, it's that time.
You didn't read out your questions.
Yeah. Oh, well, you want more questions? You know what time it is there, right?
Oh, it's early. I'm either late or early.
When you hoop the owls, you're going to be able to fly with the eagles in the morning, except when you're with turkeys. I'm going to do 5 questions, and then I'm signing off.
Aw.
What's the capital of Syria?
Oh, my God. That's not a very nice question. I know that as well. Come on.
I spent much. No, it's not Aleppo. Aleppo. It's not much left of Aleppo these days.
Go on, Skip.
It's Damascus.
Damascus.
Yeah, Damascus. A little bit of trivia. When we were trained to drive through Syria, the things that they taught us was quite simple. If you hit a goat with your vehicle, you have to hit a second goat. Because if you only hit one goat, we were responsible for all of the goats that stupid goat would ever have. But if you hit the second goat, it was neglect on the part of the shepherd. I know, it's crazy. And the largest vehicle with the loudest horn had the right of way. That's why I love those 5-ton multi-fuelers we had. Who was the first president to visit Moscow?
Oh, That would be Reagan, wouldn't it?
No. Have a good one there, Devil Dog. One of these days, I'm going to get you up here and hang out with us. And
I don't think it. No, couldn't have been. Could have been Nick. No, was it Kennedy?
nope. Kennedy. Nope.
Kennedy.
Yeah, Rock Butcher has it's Nixon.
Oh, was it Nixon? That's surprising. So you must have met like Gorbachev then.
Here's a trick question. Who
Okay.
married Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten on November 11th, 1947?
Sorry?
Who married
Queen
Lieutenant
Elizabeth
Philip
II.
Mountbatten?
Queen Elizabeth II.
Was she a queen?
I mean princess, sorry.
Yes, Princess Elizabeth. Question number 3. What was the nickname for former Haitian leader Francis Duvalier?
Now I remember seeing him on a coin, but I don't know what his nickname was. Princess Pavement says Papa G.
Rock Butcher's got right up. Papa Doc. That's well done. We got someone that's intelligent here. That's not me. Oh, I hated this stuff. This is a good question. Number 4. What's the most popular drink in Greece? Man, oh man, I should never have
I
drank
don't drink,
stuff.
but I'm gonna say drinking martini.
No, this one, man, did I ever get drunk. It instantly melts ice cubes. There's a good hint.
Whiskey.
No, Rock Butcher's got it. Ouzo. Nasty stuff.
Coke.
I ended up dancing Greek dances and smashing plates. I was so out of it.
Uko. What's name?
Final question. What is Spain's biggest source of income?
Tourism.
Ooh, aren't you quick? Yeah, probably all the British. They're going over there and hanging out. I know that. They're buying up all their property, too. I know, because half my wife's family are over there. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for Collectors Community for today. And tomorrow, we've got
Treasure Trove
on CoinWorld UK's channel.
And that's going to be at 9 p.m. GMT London time, or that's going to be 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
So you guys in the East, there's only a couple difference. So
very awesome guy right here.
Oh, this guy.
You are a diamond, my friend, and so is everybody here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and as I fade away, I'm getting all excited about the Canada's largest coin show starting this Saturday here in Edmonton, Alberta. So
didn't you say you was coming on live on Saturday all day?
What's that?
You said you was coming on live on Saturday, didn't you?
I am going to do some videotaping at the coin show. But I've only got between 5 and 7 p.m. I'm a floor walker, so it'll be a shorty.
Are you gonna have some of that cheesecake there, Skip?
What cheesecake?
The cheesecake. You didn't ever say cheesecake?
No.
The gentleman stood up. Yeah, when you're at the venue, he tried to cue the cuisine there. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, he was talking about. I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna try stuff out. I'm actually in the mood for Chinese.
Oh, Chinese. Mm.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah. Don't be a stranger there, Rock Butcher. We'll if you can make her, we'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, thanks everybody.
Stay on for 1 minute, Skip.
Yep. We will see y'all later.
Bye, everybody. You take